we have established startup building on Sui, and we oftentimes are hoping that to figuring out what the edge is in terms of the business strategy. And we have a more established company that hey, they will not be the one that experiment and see how they can broaden their appeal or change the business model or change some aspect of the business is less efficient they should be. I am absolutely confident we're going to be the winner on that front.
Welcome, everybody, into another Coinage chat here. I'm the host of Coinage, Zach Guzman, coming to you live from our Brooklyn studios in New York City as we dig into a very exciting project today, one that has no doubt been discussed a little bit more as excitement returns to the wider crypto and Web3 space. And Sui, one of those leading projects when it comes to speed, tenacity, this next wave of blockchains. Very excited to have on with us Evan Cheng, the co-founder at Miston Labs, who's working on Sui over there. Evan, good to see you again, man.
Great to see you again, Zach. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think the last time I saw you was at Sui Basecamp over in Paris for Paris Blockchain Week. A lot of excitement out there. We're going to dig into that in a little bit. First, though, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, of course, on today's show. Stand with Crypto, you know them well. More than 50 million Americans own crypto. These are entrepreneurs, innovators, and job creators who are deeply invested in building a strong America that dominates this emerging tech sector. Stand with Crypto works to mobilize the crypto community around issues and elections. You can find out more and see where candidates in your area stand at standwithcrypto.org. Evan, I think, a lot of people for this bull cycle are excited about the next projects, the iteration, the speed you guys boast at Sui. And recently, obviously, we've seen that with Grayscale adding the Sui Trust. I want to get your thoughts on that and kind of what it means. But where do you put us at in this evolution of watching what the Sui blockchain is potentially going to do here in 2024?
Well, still early. So early. I always think about we need more time for everything to kind of be built. At the same time, can't wait for that to happen. So there's like one side of me is we need more time. The other side is like, man, I wish I could fast forward 6 months and see all those things are coming together. We're just a little bit over a year old as a blockchain, and it's phenomenal that we already have gone through a major upgrade or consensus with Mr. And I think what we're seeing right now with the interest from Grayscale and other is sort of early indication that people are paying attention. It's like, okay, we have a point of view, we can execute, we have a community that's getting built out. I'll say that's the way that I would look at it. It's like, well, community is still early, but it's very, very vibrant. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of passion. And so everything's looking good. We're really, really excited about where we are right now.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time we had you on the show to kind of dig into some of the numbers that you look at when you add up all of what quote unquote community is, right? And it's always tricky to look at on a chart. You kind of just got to feel it, which is why Sui Basecamp was really exciting in Paris to kind of see everyone in that room packed in, kind of talking about what's to come. But what are those metrics you're looking at too? Texas, I don't know, you can see the DeFi llama kind of total value locked is one of those metrics I think we talked about before that just kind of goes to show this big run up to start off August. I mean, what are you looking at, Evan?
Well, I mean, DeFi is always going to be the first sort of the sector on a platform that's sort of like getting traction. So this is the one area that has product market fit in all Web3 crypto. So generally speaking, right, this is not a surprise. This is going to be where people putting in their earliest kind of effort. And even there, we are seeing very, very good traction. TVL is one thing because it's really easy in some cases to, kind of put money in there. But look at transaction volume. Look at, over the first year, our DeFi transaction volume. So it's showing sign as being healthy and a lot of products are migrating over to Sui, and they all have great traction. They're showing, just better product, right? And that's the indications like, okay, we're a serious player in DeFi. Obviously, there's a lot more than DeFi, and I think even DeFi itself need to go through iterations and go through changes. So that's what we're looking at as well, and that's all coming. Yeah, I mean the charts are interesting, but it only tells one part of the story.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we have some of the video from Paris as well that just kind of gave a good flavor of kind of what the non-chart story of Sui and
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Liston Labs is trying to incubate there. It was fun. I was out there at the conference at Sui Base Camp. There's a lot of I guess how do you navigate the kind of changes in terms of you're dealing with the ups and downs of the macro environment, you're dealing with the ups and downs of like investors looking at these things. You got to keep the excitement up, and as I mentioned off the top, you've got the Grayscale Sui Trust launched at the beginning of August, which I think is really exciting. I mean, what does that maybe signal about tying in both the community but then also like investment and investor attention on what you guys are building?
Well, both of the community and the investor are looking for long-term winners. In this space, usually there's like if you focus on the current narrative, you have narrative changes every few months, every few weeks, right? It's like chasing narrative is a surefire way to lose, and not having a point of view and not having a mission, a vision, it's not going to get you there, right? So what we're seeing with Grayscale, by the way, we didn't even knew that was coming. They just I think we had one conversation and just kind of talked to them about our tech and our vision, and they apparently they got very excited and did a fund, and actually we know there's more coming. You know, large players. We keep on getting these signals from institution, and that's sort of balanced with what we're seeing and hearing from the community, just so how passionate they are, and that just gave us comfort. We are, sort of right there. We're going to be the winner. It's not we can be a winner. It's really up to us. We up to ourselves, up to our ecosystem partners, our developer to build and
Hmm.
continue to build differentiated product. And you also probably saw the Electric Capital's report. We're also winning on there. It's one of the fastest growing ecosystem with in terms of developer activation activity, and definitely the number one in terms of the platform that use move.
Yeah, well, one of the big, I mean, obviously we can dig into what's to come, and I know you can't give specific details, but we can talk broadly about what has you most excited. Because thinking back to Sui Basecamp, one of the big announcements was around the Sui Play 0x1, which was kind of, I think it's exciting because we've seen some blockchain projects lean into hardware, and unless you're building everything like a full stack, it's kind of tricky to think about ownership done differently in Web3 unless you got a piece of hardware that can handle it all. I mean, how are you kind of thinking about building out the initiatives that you guys want to bring to the world when it comes to attracting that community and delivering on, I think, everything that Sui promises to bring into the crypto world?
Yeah, I mean, Sui is not just a blockchain; it's a platform. It's a platform for developers, and what do a developer needs? They need user, need distribution. How does PayPal? I think there was a quote somewhere. I forgot who's talked about like how Google employees have launched one or two, kind of billion-dollar companies, startups, and while PayPal mafia, we all know, have now produced, I don't know, nine, because they had to solve distribution. And 3Play is a distribution play. We know this is a device people are gonna love because it's, do more than your typical handheld, gaming PC, but it has the tight integration, with Sui, and that, bring new experience to users, consumers, but at the same time, it's a great distribution channel for developers. We're seeing all our gaming developers super excited about it. They all want to be part of it. Um, probably a lot of time people think about it's like, oh, what can Web3 and crypto do for consumers? That's very important to figure out. Ultimately, that's where we need to win. But before that, how do we help developer figuring out the new business model that can last? Is just as important. So solving distribution is a critical part, and this is one of many such efforts that we have, kind of working on right now. It's in a lot of way a harder problem than building the tech. You were seeing, right?
Yeah.
So talk about what we would talk about at the base camp, where we talk about Massetti, and then fast forward a few months later, we ship Massetti, and it's being flawless. We're going to ship this as well with our partner Playtron, and it's going to be exciting, and we're going to learn a lot once it comes out. And we're already seeing a ton of excitement from both the developers and gamers and our community members.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy piece of stepping back and thinking about this is that Sui mainnet only went live in May of last year, and to
Yep.
think about how long some of this takes in terms of incubating the projects, educating developers, thinking about all that. I mean, it's not like you can just snap your fingers and all this stuff happens overnight. So I mean, when you think about kind of the patience or the vision or like how you even communicate what's coming down the pipeline to community members, like I guess what does that look like for you kind of steering the ship here and what you've seen this year?
I'm every day I'm just very, very floored by how much our team have done and continue to drive forward. It's amazing, and then every day I'm very, very blessed to be part of this community with all the energy or everything they're building. We are sort of this kind of it's almost organic, right? Building an ecosystem is organic. But we have, I think the very clear signals is that we know what each of these tasks are about, right? Keeping Sui healthy at the forefront of this technology race is one thing, and solving distribution is another. Kind of allow a developer to experiment with new consumer experience is going to be another. So we do a lot of things in solving the UX and all the frictions of onboarding users and all that other hard problem. Maybe a lot of other projects don't really think about, right? And it's come down to our experience. So it may just seems like we're just constantly shipping and moving forward and doing more things, and uh, you know, but there is a plan behind it, right? This is kind of goes back to the amazing team, the amazing vision we have, and we've just the kind of practice of execution, build out the muscle to do that everything. Yeah, I mean, we have a few more things that's launching pretty soon. So I'm just blessed with an incredible team,
Well, one
honestly.
of the things too, I mean, I guess, when it comes to reputation, obviously that's important for signing on partners as we've learned as well in terms of, sometimes people, especially larger brands, might be a little hesitant to lean into Web3. But back in the spring, there was talks about TikTok's Byte Plus and Miston Labs working together on not just gaming, but kind of everything else that we've seen in terms of garnering excitement around, I think, content and how Web3 plays into that. I mean, is that still kind of the focus when people think about Sui as gaming and those integrations, or are there other things that maybe you feel like people overlook in these discussions about where Sui goes from here?
Yeah, so we are not a platform just for one particular sectors. It's not just for gaming. It's not just for on-chain finance or DeFi. We're not just this and that. Ultimately, we're a platform for disruptors. And this is our DNA. This is what our vision is. We see variety of opportunities to change how we build software, build services going forward. We can talk about how centralization is bad for consumers, but it's also bad for builders. And builders sometimes want to build software that's more efficient, remove a lot of intermediary. They want to change the way the business model, how to monetize their services and products. They go down the list, right? So, and when you think about it, you realize the best partners are the one that's moving things forward. They're disruptors, they're pioneers. They don't want to do just what others have done. Maybe a little bit better. So ultimately that's what we're looking for. So why is this a lot of early focus in gaming? Because gaming has proven itself to be that pioneering, having that pioneering spirit. But you're going to see a lot of people talk about deepin, right? That is definitely happening. We have great partners building really, really exciting things like Sui Trust, for example, are going to change the way we think about manufacturing. right? That's the goal. That's kind of a partner we have. We have partners of all sizes, where we're going to have partners, well, probably just as big as Binance, if not bigger. That's coming. It's not about the size and who they are. It's about the spirit, what they're about. So these are the companies that are constantly pushing forward, and that's what we're about, and we support all of them as much as we can. Even on finance, right? Finance has traditionally been moving slowly, and DeFi is a way to think about challenging them. But some of the smartest players in this industry are looking at us and working with us, and are thinking about what blockchain or Sui in particular can do
Mm-hmm.
for their business and serve the customer. So yeah, I think it's very the TODR is very important for us to think about, not in terms like, well, this chain is specialized for this or that. The sequence of things are there for a reason. Certain sectors move faster,
Mm-hmm.
certain industries move faster. Certain industries just have the sort of like the more the more like mavericks. They're more willing to move forward faster.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's interesting too, just because obviously people who are in the space, who cover the space, maybe do compare projects to projects. I think last time we had you on, we were chatting about, okay, let's chat about movement and what this all looks like. Who's the leader here? Aptos, Sui, and discussing some of the mechanics and numbers. The longer you stick around, the more I think it comes down to, at least from the outside looking in, seems like what relationships are formed, what partnerships are formed, where these things go, and how you want to integrate with the projects that maybe came even before. I mean, when you look at those and you think about integrations, both within Sui and within Web3 and outside Web3, I mean, how are you thinking about those strategic moves, and what has maybe impressed you with some of what we've seen? I mean, this year has been pretty wild, even if you look at Solana and some of the things that that community has done with the PayPals of the world and how they're leaning into that. I mean, how do you look at the strategy in what you're building?
I think when you're early, the first thing you have to do is establish credibility. And the credibility with the early adopters is the most important part. And that's what we had done in the first year. And then as you build out your reputation and sort of display your vision and kind of a showcase to the world, our ability to think about product in a holistic manner, then you start attracting other pioneers that are thinking about kind of bigger things, right? So uh, you know we have always believed our reputation, our ability to think about consumer product end to end, and our ability to execute is one of our biggest long-term sort of advantages, and
Mm-hmm.
that's proving to be true. And a lot of these kind of partnership, a lot of time people are rightfully skeptical about partnership with corporations in the space, because a lot of them are pay for play. That's not the case here. What we're seeing is a genuine excitement to move things forward and be a real partner with us, and that's a differentiation, right? As you say, relationship is key in every industry. And we have established some amazing relationship. Coming back to what I say at the beginning of the show is, well, I wish I can fast forward and show what we're all about, and that's definitely happening. So we have, you know, garage developers eager to build on Sui, and we want to enable them to be able to build a sustainable business. We have established startup building on Sui, and we oftentimes are helping them to figuring out what the edge is in terms of the business strategy. And we have a more established company that hey, they want to not be the one that experiment and see how they can broaden their appeal, or change the business model, or change some aspect of the business is less efficient they should be. So and we're winning on that front. I'm very confident. We're winning. We're going to be one of the winners. We have a long
Yeah.
way to go in terms of building out the size and scale, the community and everything else. But I am absolutely confident we're going to be the winner on that front.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too when we think about how price moves all this too. And I know founders never like talking about token price, but it's a sad reality, or maybe it's just a true reality in terms of how that drives some excitement too. It's been true with stocks since I've been covering them at CNBC and
Yep.
Yahoo too. It's always the same way. Is that hey, something's going on over here. You should dig into that. And it's the same thing this time around. I think when crypto rebounded after that huge panic sell-off we saw, Sui was one of the biggest movers. And I don't know how much of that was kind of tied into Grayscale. But for you as a founder, kind of charting that roadmap you just discussed, I mean, it's obviously a very interesting year with the election and everything. And I assume your answer might be, look, we can control what we can control here. But how do you maybe, as again, you and the team at Miston, look at the opportunities as they're shaping up here in this election year, how that changes any part of the strategy as you see it playing out?
You're right. We can control what we control the rest we can, right? Our finance team, both on the Miston and the Sui Foundation side, are amazing, and they always looking forward, always try to figure things out. Just put us in a good position. That's the key thing. So yeah, I don't know, right? I mean, it's not something that we really have control over, so we just do the best we can. But at the same time, we know there's going to be an opportunity. We know this cycle hasn't play out completely. There's going to be many more months ahead of us, and so there were going to be great opportunities. So what we can do is put ourselves in a good position to be able to do as well as we can possibly do. Don't put us in any kind of financial dangers, and then everything is planned out. Wish we have more resources to do everything we want to do, but we're realistic and need to be careful on the spend side. Yeah, this is an odd cycle. Everybody will tell you that it's not playing out as other previous cycles, which is in a lot of to our advantage. Because we are kind of pretty well kind of equipped to deal with the volatility, the craziness here. So yeah, we'll just keep on marching forward. We can't wait for everything to line up on the on that front. For us
Yeah.
to be successful, we have to drive our own destiny,
Yeah,
regardless
no,
what happens in the market.
it's been interesting to see that Paul, to see that all play out. And obviously, again, I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight too that Coinage, us here and our team, also has a validator for people who are in the ecosystem too, to just stake along with us for this ride as we give it all time to see what happens in the Sui ecosystem. It's been fun to play along as well. And Evan, I think as we kind of wrap up, last time I can't remember if we had asked you for your bold predictions. I think it had been too early in the ecosystem to kind of ask you for, give us your bold predictions. And they don't need to be Sui related, by the way. It could just be big crypto related if you want to. But we always love asking founders for their bold predictions because they often see these things coming before they happen. But what are you kind of envisioning for bold predictions for people to keep their eyes on?
Well, it has to be around Sui. It has to be around, also words, right? We have another big project that was just announced. We're going to be successful, regardless what happens. It's all relative to how the market does, obviously. But I think ignoring the crypto price for a second, we will come out, establish ourselves as the leading developer platform. We're going to be up there, compete with all the established players, and we're going to eat into their leads. And we're going to have some thing for a lot of people will say, wait, how did that come about? Seems like it come out of left field. As I say, overnight success sometimes take years. I think we're going to get there in about a year and a half. And there will be something in the near horizon that will knock everybody's socks off. This is not any of the things that people even have a clue or even have any hint so far. It's definitely going to happen. That's
To
my
ask you a little
prediction.
bit more, just to unpack that a little bit more, I do wonder because a lot of times we have founders on who have come after the roadmaps have kind of been paved a little bit. We've seen a lot of recreation, a lot of the same things, whether it's like decentralized exchanges, social fi, NFT swapping platforms, and spinning a lot of the same stuff up. But it sounds like you just teased something that's completely different. I mean, is that kind of when you say the next year and a half? Is that how you see kind of the next chapter playing out for Sui? Is look, we can't just replicate what's worked for other blockchains. There will become a point where we've got to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing incumbents playbook, right? If you're following anybody else, that you're your goal is to be second place. And any company that start out with a goal to be in second place, you usually don't even get there. So copycats don't work, right? Following someone else's strategy, try to chase after the current narrative rather than establish your own narrative is not a way to build a lasting company. It's simple as that. And our ambition goes far beyond that, right? We believe we'll be one of those iconic companies that really transform how people think about, how software and build what the internet should look like. So we definitely have our own path, and we're just executing towards that. The plan. To be clear, we're talking about next few months. That and not the next year and a half. So year and a half is too far out, especially in the space, in any kind of a frontier technology space. Uh, uh, Things like, look back, OpenAI got into mainstream consciousness, a few months ago. Poly markets, they came out of, like they've been building for multiple years, and now they're everywhere. Um, you know, this is what we're talking about, and this is what we are aiming for. Is it going to take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, yeah, or year?
Yeah.
But it's going to come sooner than what everybody else expect. That's what I'm referring to.
Well, as we get closer to those announcements, got to have you back on to unpack those and discuss them a little bit more. Please keep us posted per usual as we line those ones up to wrap up 2024. It's been an exciting time. And again, congrats on everything that we've seen you building over there at Miston Labs and on Sui. Evan Cheng, co-founder of Miston Labs. Thanks again, man. Love having you on.
Thank you, Dak. It's great to be here.
Appreciate it, man. That'll do it for us in this chat. This time around, per usual, you can always go to coinage.media to check out the biggest headlines around Web3 and catch all of our interviews there as well. For Evan Cheng, everybody here at Coinage, I'm Zach Guzman, signing off. We'll see you again soon.